Hello and welcome to the What We Think of It YouTube channel. This bit is only going to be for you guys, you YouTube viewers. Obviously, we can't really show this on the podcast, so it's just for you guys. This is me driving to the cinema, well, being driven to the cinema at, I believe I was heading there at around 10 p.m. to get there, because they started showing The Legend of Ruby Sunday at 11. Obviously, I'd already seen that, but, they showed them both. And yeah, I just recorded a little bit, and I did record, and a lot of people, and you've probably already seen it, but I did try and record the message that obviously only the cinema people got from Millie Gibson, um, which was nice. It was nice to have. Yeah, it was just nice, and it was overall a really good experience, even if the finale wasn't the best. But obviously, we're going to get into that this episode, and as well as that, before we get into the actual review as such, there is a little mix and match of different scenes, and James recorded his reaction to some of them. Ignore the really bad camera angle that you know I guess he didn't think about that much, and it's not like I was there to, be able to change it for him. So, yeah. In a nutshell, you're about to get a few different scenes from Empire of Death that James will have reacted to, and you're about to see his reaction. So, for a very brief moment, we're reaction YouTubers, or at least he is.
Okay, that's not how I said it. Because I kind of expected Sutek to come and grab the doctor and do sort of a fake out death. Wait. Glowing sand. Oh dear. Everyone's getting Thanos. Everyone's getting Thanos. It comes. Is this where we start the scene we saw in the preview?
I bring Sutek's dust of death.
Don't tell me they're gonna kill. Wait, no, they're not. Oh, I really hope they don't kill off Kate. That would suck. I didn't know his thingamabob had guns. Segway. Is it a Segway? Is the thing Morris rides on? Is that a Segway? I don't mind being dense, but is that a Segway? No. No. No, not Kate. No, not Kate. Surely they undo this somehow. The memory TARDIS? Wait, he went into the TARDIS inside that, and it became the memory TARDIS.
I clung to your infernal machine, and for so many years I hid. I have traveled with you for all this time.
Okay, now those VFX were very cool. I like that. This episode's This episode's going on for a very good start. Oh yeah, the green powers from the Pyramids of Mars. That's cool. Then it actually looks a lot better than. When I rewatched the story, I didn't rewatch it the first time. I rewatched Pyramids of Mars twice. Once for Tales of TARDIS, and the other time I rewatched the original. And I gotta say, those effects look a lot better. Is this it? He's disappearing. Or burning, whatever. Oh, this is cool. That's Ruby's mother. That's Ruby's mother? It's not the trickster? Louise Amerson Miller. Ruby's mother is Louise Amerson Miller.
He was troubled. I think she did the right thing getting you out of that house. She must have hidden the pregnancy. Father, William Benjamin Garnet.
And William Benjamin Garnet is the father.
At the age of 18, did well, got a degree.
This is a curveball. I didn't see this coming. Wow. Welcome back to What We Think of It. We are your hosts, James King and
Shockwave, and welcome to the final episode. For a little while, we're going on a bit of a break again because we have been doing consistent episodes for 7 weeks.
yeah, and boy are we tired of doing this week in, week out.
Yeah, because you got to remember a lot of the times we did record them like in the early hours of the morning, which is quite a lot. So yeah, this is the final one. If we sound a bit tired and run down, just because we are, don't worry. We're not cancelling the podcast. We just won't bring it back for a bit. It's just going on a temporary break. We'll still be active on other channels. But
Yeah, channels like pretty much we're focusing on the collective, but we'll still be active, but we are putting the podcast on a break after this episode.
yes, so obviously this one is the review, but it's not going to be like, because it wasn't like so many other people have done reviews that pretty much sum up what we're all thinking. So we're not going to go that. We're not really going to go in depth to the plot at all. Just in a nutshell, if you think about the amount of memes that have been made from it, and the main issue, there was a lot of issues. Sutekh was not done very well, defeated too easily. Ruby's mum, we obviously have that whole thing where it was just doesn't make sense. He wasn't really being clever by having it be anticlimactic, because if you think about it, there was no church sign in the original Church and Ruby Road episode, so it's just stupid. And yeah, like basically just watch some other video reviews, Who Cultures, for example. Just they just sum it up. They sum up my thoughts at least, and it's like the overall idea of it was really good. There were this is like an ongoing theme with series one. There are some really good scenes in the episodes, and there was some really good scenes in this episode, but it just was nowhere near as good as part one was hyped up to be. And we did fear that would happen, and it's just a classic Russell thing of not being able to end it and having too many ideas and not knowing how to wrap them up or what to do with them.
I mean, I can kind of get Sutekh not doing much and him being easily defeated. I mean, he's the god of death, and if he was pushed to his full potential, there'd be pretty much no way to beat him. So
I know. I just feel like
being...
I feel like there's also been things on Twitter where it shows like the episode should have ended at like Kate dying or something. You know, the Legend of Ruby Sunday should have ended with Kate dying. That was the cliffhanger. Like there were some definitely other cliffhanger opportunities rather than just the reveal of Sutekh, because then they only had 50 minutes to wrap it all up, and they wrapped up within about half an hour. Like, as some of you may know, and well, as you all have seen, if you watched it on YouTube, only the YouTube version is going to have the cinema bit that I filmed with James's reaction, because obviously that's a more visual thing. But yeah, so if you check this out on YouTube, you'll see that obviously I showed it at the start. So yeah, I did end up going to cinema really late to watch it, and it was nice to experience it on the big screen. But yeah, it was just a bit of a, which is quite a massive letdown, to be honest, and it's just slightly worrying for the future. I mean, there is no, obviously, Series 3 commissioned yet. I guess they see how Series 2 goes, but I don't know how high hopes we are for that. I mean, you know, I'm guessing the higher-ups will give it a commission, but I just feel like Russell needs to go. He's not... We need some different, younger talent. Like, it's all well and good if he has good ideas. Maybe he could pass them on, but he needs to give them to other people to actually finish them up properly, because there were so many things I just can't point out that was just wrong with this series and the finale.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so underwhelming. And it annoys me that we didn't see the Trickster. They played his theme in The Devil's Chord.
Yeah, well, that all goes back to the Ruby having the snow abilities, the AI not being able to recognise her, even though they brought back the whole Roderick William thing, which I admit, when the 73 yards plot was brought into it, I was happy. I was like, oh, actually, this is really cool. Seeing it, I was like, oh, shit. In cinema, I was like, oh, God. And yeah, that didn't really go as far as I'd like. Someone on Twitter said that it would be cool if Roger was Ruby's brother somehow, or not brother, father, because William, I don't know. I doubt that. I don't think Russell would do that, but that would be quite interesting, to be fair. But yeah, it's just like there are just so many plot holes with it, and I don't know why they did this weird big goodbye when she's literally going to be like. It seems that they only did it so we could have Shooty alone for the Christmas special, because literally the episode 1 of series 2 or series 15, it's her again. Like Ruby's back, and then we've got Russell has confirmed recently that we will be having episodes with the 2 companions. So it will be nice to have 2 companions, but I just don't know how it's going to go. You really just don't know, because now obviously we're on that break. We've got Moffat writing the Christmas special, which is good. It's still a bargain, to be fair. Oh, shit. Sorry about that. So yeah, overall, I'm just gonna get it out of the way, and because we're not going too in depth, give it. Originally, I was like, from just the hype of it all, gave it an 8 out of 10. It's not that generous now. The most generous I can be is giving it a 7, and that is really pushing it. Six
I'm
point five.
yeah, when I'm really thinking through it, I'd give it a solid 7.5 as well. I mean, I gave it a 9 out. I gave the whole story a 9 out of 10. You know, right after the first watch.
It's just on watch though. Everything's all like, oh, hype, and you don't really think about or have time to go through everything. That, oh wait, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, this is definitely a situation where a lot of us are thinking the same thing, and mainly about the Ruby's mother storyline, because that was built up to be this whole big thing. And it was just, yeah, I can't say I'll be doing a rewatch of this series anytime soon. Like, there's the odd episode, yeah, of course, Boom was good, but then we had the whole dad to dad line. But if he said he hasn't had kids yet, it makes Russell. He's just trying to make things so complicated now, and I hate it. And I will say this, someone did point out a really good thing. You know how Moffat obviously went for the sort of fantasy fairy tale route in series 5? He actually did it better because, you know, I'll read the tweet. It's from someone called at Z Strange Folks, like strange with a Z. Okay, seeing both RTD and Moffat's approach to fantasy, it's very clear RTD sees the genre tropes as more an excuse to not explain anything, whereas Moffat is more interested in playing on the metatextual elements. It's less Doctor Who is magic and more Amy discovering her inner child. And yeah, I agree. It's like, at least Moffat still made it feel like that sort of, just like it made sense, rather than just, oh, it's magic now, you don't need to question it. That's sort of what it's become, isn't it? Like, I know Moffat wasn't perfect with it. I'm not saying he was, but Russell's not doing much better.
Yeah, I've got to agree. Moffat definitely did the whole fairy tale element a lot better.
It felt a lot more like Doctor Who. I'll say that.
And considering this episode isn't going to be too long, because we've pretty much mentioned all my gripes.
Yeah, this is pretty much
the
it.
The only real last thing to say is it's a bit weird that Sutekh has been on the TARDIS since
Yeah, oh
Pyramids
shit, yeah,
of
we
Mars.
didn't say that. Yeah, that's something me and James both. I mean, I definitely hate it. I just don't. When I saw it, of course, at the time, because you're hype watching it, like, oh, when it showed on the TVs, different scenes from, like, we had one, again, extra canonizing the TV movie. I know that already was, but we had a shot from that. We had a shot from Boomtown, and Series 3, I think. Yeah, it was really cool seeing all the shots, but it was also like, no, sorry, no, because now there is this flood of memes with Sutekh reacting to different events in Doctor Who's history. Because, yeah, since the 70s, that's a long bloody time. That's like a majority of the show.
I know, and
It's terrible.
And so what was Sutekh doing when Capaldi was sitting on top of the TARDIS?
Yeah, and Jodie and Yaz, like, there's just a meme where he's licking an ice cream too. It's really like, yeah, they're funny. I'll admit, I'm glad he did it because the memes are funny. But come on, from a plot point of view, as someone pointed out, and as loads agree, it would make a lot more sense if he joined on the TARDIS in Wild Blue Yonder, especially as that's the first time the TARDIS made the groan, and they pointed that out in the marketing as well. Like, the groaning bit was cool, I like that, but it only started in Wild Blue Yonder, so surely that should be when Sutekh got there, because it was the thin barriers of the universe. It just makes sense. So that's my headcanon. I don't know about you guys. Comment below or vote on Spotify, obviously, if you liked it or not. Actually, no, you know what? On Spotify this time, there will not be a poll as to liked it, disliked it, hated it, loved it, because I don't feel like that gives you enough freedom. I'm going to make this a question so you can actually type what you thought of the episode. They don't let you type much, but for Spotify listeners, you've got a bit more freedom for this final episode for a while.
Yes.
YouTubers, just please comment on YouTube. I'd love to know.
Yeah, a temporary return of the Q&A.
Yeah, technically speaking, except I probably won't read them out, because by the time the next episode of this podcast is out, this will sort of be long, not really worth mentioning again. So this is probably the last time you'll hear me and James talk about this episode. Not sure about season 1. We might do something to wrap it up at some point, but I don't know. To be honest, who knows? But either way, just, yeah, disappointing ultimately, but this season was always going to be a hit or miss.
Yeah,
it brought its good moments. Yeah, it brought its good moments. Murray did some pretty good stuff, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how I feel about it. It's not, but the finale definitely just in like the long run, too many plot holes, and just it racks my brain. Like, the fact we're having to make up our own headcanon so we're not annoyed is not really a great sign.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that is pretty much it.
We'll see you guys. Yeah, and we'll see you guys whenever this podcast comes back.
Well, what's the date today? It's the 25th of June, so we'll probably leave it for July. We might be back in late summer. If not then,
So,
then
yeah, who knows?
definitely September. Thank you for listening.
So, we will see you all next episode.